All right, I guess we're ready to do this. We're on a station.
Do you know what the country of Siam is called now?
No. What is it called?
Thailand.
Yeah, I knew that. Thailand. Greenland. I thought Detroit was in Thailand. Our Detroit press conference is now ready. We are on WYST 97.1 FM, which is a good dial location, right in the middle.
All right.
Our moderator will be Jeff Griffiths, who is our promotions director there.
Okay.
Jeff will be handling the moderation.
Yeah, I hope you can moderate.
Well, we need a moderator. Calm everyone down. I'm sure it'll get out of hand. Let me see how I do this. And now, is that Jeff?
Good morning, Howard.
Wow.
Hey,
it works.
It works.
Sounds very good.
Yeah, wonder how that happened. I guess the satellite thing is pretty well down to being an operable condition where we don't have to hear feedback and all kind of crap. I mean, it's actually working.
We read you loud and clear.
All right.
Detroit, Howard.
Jeff, good to be speaking to you. As you know, maybe I should just address the press first. Good morning, press.
Good morning.
Room full of people.
I would like to say good morning to Detroit. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and, of course, the nation's car builders.
Yes.
That's right. It is with great pride and a tiny wiener that I greet you this fine morning. I'm sure many of you are asking yourselves, Howard, what do you think? Your 35th market, can it still be exciting to start in a new city? And I sit and wonder, is that your best question? Have you really come prepared to the press conference? Let me paint you a picture. I'm about to star in a major motion picture.
You are starring.
I am starring. That's right, Robin.
You already did it.
Right. I'm as huge an icon as has come along since the American Eagle, if you really think about it. Now, returning to Detroit is a victory for me. I've come back to conquer, to put another feather in my Radio King bonnet.
None of this is making any sense.
You don't have to point that out. Now the press is going to think I'm not making any sense. I'm on a roll. Now your mornings will steam with cutting-edge humor, honest opinions, truckloads of penis and vagina references, descriptions of my lovely Robin's chest clumps, the sound art of frightening Fred Norris, the annoying hoarse voice of a burnt-out old joke man, and the flapping giant gums of my boy ape right-hand monkey man, Gary Delabate.
Baba Booey.
At first, the press, traditionally, when I go into a new radio market, calls me a skunk and dirtbag. In a week, you will start to think I'm not so bad. And in 2 weeks, you will be so sucked into this program, you will quit your jobs and chain yourself to your radio because you will be so in love with it. I am ready. Talk fast. I am braced for what I am sure will be completely different questions than the last press conference that we had. I prefer gay journalists first. And now...
You're ready to take questions?
Yeah. And now I am ready to take questions. And, you know, look, it is really quite an honor to have a sea of shining faces. The Detroit press is a tough press group.
Is it?
Oh, yes. They ask the tough questions. I lived in Detroit for 9 whole months, and I know. I couldn't wait to get out of there. One has to ask himself a question when they think of Detroit.
What?
Well, I think most of the country says, where did all the white people go? But you never know.
Well, let's see what's on Detroit's mind.
All right.
All right. That
Howard,
went well.
we have, since you want to start with the gay publication, we got Steve Culver here from The Outpost.
Excellent.
Outpost.
Who is that, Steve?
Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Culver.
Steve, by the way, you'll be happy to know that when I first did Lesbian Dating Game in Washington, D.C., the gay press embraced me. Thank you.
That was the last time.
That was the last time they embraced me.
Good morning, Howard.
Good morning.
You might be surprised that there's actually gay press in Detroit, but
I'm not surprised at all. In fact, most people in Detroit are gay. Isn't that true, Robin?
Well, they tell us that there are gays everywhere.
Yeah, they have.
The community is rather small here, actually.
No, you're absolutely right. As a matter of fact,
3 of us.
You'll be surprised. Most people don't even think of gays living in Detroit. They mostly think of them in artistic communities. And Detroit is not known for its artisans. So, and as a matter of fact, you'll be surprised to know there's a big Jewish population in Detroit.
Is that true?
Who would know that Jews would be in the Midwest, but they are.
Yeah, because I heard it was a manufacturing town.
I was working in Detroit radio many years ago, and one of the disc jockeys, I won't mention any names, got on the air and said, remember, everybody, go to so-and-so store because over there you could probably Jew them down. And that's when I realized how many Jews there were in Detroit.
The Jews were up in arms.
The Jews were up in arms. It was frightening. But...
well, Howard, you're new here, and what I've been hearing is that you've got this fixation, this obsession with lesbians. So what's up with that?
Well, I think every man thinks about lesbianism because obviously you start to imagine that you are in a room with two beautiful naked women and that you would have sex with them. And even more so, I think that the public is fascinated by lesbianism because it is so beautiful to look at. Two women entangled. Is certainly, I'm not talking about ugly lesbians. I'm talking about the lipstick lesbians. That is really a fantasy of heterosexual men, and I'm a heterosexual man, and I talk about my fantasies.
All right.
Of course.
Do you realize, Howard, that further down the dial, you're up against a 300-pound drag queen named Trixie Deluxe?
Well, listen, I have come up against everything. Radio is it doesn't surprise me because radio is filled with circus freaks, geeks, and everything. I would say that circus clowns are higher on the food chain than disc jockeys. So it wouldn't surprise me that radio has stooped as low as to put people who are really not even entertaining. I mean, she's entertaining for looking funny, not for sounding funny. Radio's a medium of sounding funny. It's absurd, right, Robin?
Yeah, it seems odd to me to put a drag queen on the radio just because she's a drag queen.
Yeah, you see, but that's the mentality of most radio stations. They figure, well, we'll put a drag queen. Meanwhile, no one can even see this drag queen.
And she's certainly not going to... What is she talking about? Is she talking about, getting a guy last night?
No.
Howard, private parts, is there going to be something for your gay viewers?
Yes. There are several gay references. There are...
And lesbian scenes?
Lesbian scenes. There are, listen...
and then there's the Beefcake Howard.
Yeah, and then, quite frankly, for guys, I am in various states of undress.
That's right.
And all gays love me, of course. And, of course, there'll be buttered popcorn. No. And you know what you can do with that. No, of course. I think most gay men will enjoy the film because I am my bare chest is shown several times.
And your butt cheeks.
And my butt cheeks. And my butt cheeks are warm. In fact, the opening of the movie, you will see my bare buttocks. You like a little ass, right? Steve? Are you an ass man?
I had thought I'd gotten rid of the microphone quick enough.
No, I'm saying, wait, you have a lover?
Life mate.
Excuse me, life mate. You have a boyfriend, and you are what, the pitcher? Or the catcher?
Or are you a switch hitter?
It was just designated hitters.
Oh, you're a hitter?
Well, he says they both.
Oh, you both do that. So you like a man's ass, right?
Oh. Well, you know what? There's 24 people here waiting to ask other questions.
No, I'm saying that you enjoy... I'm not putting you down.
You would say you enjoy vagina, would you not?
Yeah, I'm not afraid to say I enjoy vagina. I'm saying you enjoy a man's buttocks as a sexual object, right?
Howard, we're from Detroit. We're pretty conservative over here.
A gay guy who's conservative?
No, you're doing it. You just don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, he'll do it, but he won't talk about it, right? So, in other words, I'm saying the thought of seeing a naked buttocks is exciting to you, true?
Well, I'll go to the movie and tell you later. How's that?
How long have you been with your life mate?
A little over a year.
Oh, really?
His boyfriend.
It's not a life mate.
I see. Any marriage plans, or...?
Well, until we get the trip to Hawaii.
Really? Well, listen, I wish you luck with him, and you don't cheat on him, do you?
No.
And you're practicing safe sex?
Always.
Yeah, what a drag with a rubber, huh? That stuff's painful enough. You put a rubber on it, forget about it. I can't imagine.
I'm sorry, the signal's breaking up, Howard.
You need a pound of lubricant.
Who named the magazine Outpost?
Outpost? What's that all about? What is the name?
You've got the New York Post, we've got the Outpost.
I see. How about Big Post? Well, I'm all for the gays. I support gay rights. I support gays.
Support gay marriage.
I support gay marriage and gays in the military.
And we support private parts.
Well, thank you. And I support your newspaper. Thank you. What is it, Baba Booey?
This is one of those things I never know whether I should bring this up or not, so
yeah.
I'm prepared to get pummeled.
Yeah.
Baba Booey.
You remember when we had that wire cutting incident in Cleveland?
Yes.
And you remember the program director was this guy named John Gorman, and we talked about him on the air?
Yes.
Well, apparently he was hired as the program director of our station right now in Detroit this week.
So you mean our new program director is the guy who cut
our wires?
That's what they're telling me.
Boy, a strange bedfellows.
And you know what's really weird?
What?
I usually get a fact sheet from the station telling me, the program director, general manager, and his name was there was no program director's name on the sheet.
Well, I got to tell you something. I like this guy. He has Eye of the Tiger.
Well, he might be there right now.
Right. So I am not that offended by him working for us. I like a guy who goes out and does stuff like that.
Yeah, we got to have a wire cutter in the business. He must be on our side.
Let him be on our team. I'm not necessarily opposed to that. I like it. So, where's the gay guy? I'm not done with him yet.
That didn't get you off the hook.
He left town.
Ran out of the room.
Yeah.
No, this is Steve Howard.
No, Steve, it's always funny to me how a gay gentleman is uptight about talking about how he likes ass.
On the national radio?
Yeah, I mean, it's just weird. I mean.
But, that's part and parcel of being gay,
yeah.
is it not?
Do you like the smell of it? No, I'm being serious. I mean, because it turns me off when guys, and I just want to understand it, that's all. I mean, I'm not putting you down for it. I understand that it's your choice, but...
well, on Howard, it's...
Like when you see the hair and everything, doesn't it sort of turn you off?
Obviously not.
Really? Even as a woman, Robin, when you see the hair on a man's ass, doesn't it turn you off?
No, I don't want to see a smooth butt. That would be a woman's.
Really? But I don't know. Kind of smelly back there. Guys are not that tidy. You know what I'm saying, Steve?
Well, Howard, I just heard you earlier. You were saying that you
is your life made
wash yourself.
Yeah. Is your life made very tidy?
Yes.
How do you prepare?
Were you born a homosexual, or were you sucked into it?
Well, Howard,
what,
I don't believe it's a choice. Yes, Howard.
Really? You believe that it's a genetic thing?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you knew very early.
Now, when was your first gay experience?
Not until after high school, actually.
Really?
I was a late bloomer.
And did you try dating chicks?
No, actually.
Right, you knew right away.
No.
No kidding. And then, I bet you couldn't wait to be with your first man. Who do you think is really hot? What guy is really cute?
Who's your fantasy guy?
Yeah. Jason Priestley from 90210?
No.
Clint Eastwood?
Brad Pitt?
There's so many.
When did you tell your father you were gay? Was it hard for him to swallow?
Well, about a half hour ago, I guess.
Oh, really?
Come on, he didn't know?
So did you used to, sit in your room and think about guys and, Did
you have a bunch of posters?
Yeah, did you have posters of guys in your room? Did you have, gay porn and stuff in your room?
I was expecting I was going to come to this press conference, Howard, and maybe I might get lucky to ask you a question.
No, you're much more fascinating than I am. Hey, we're doing an hour together. I mean, come on. When you were in high school, did you used to look at guys, in the locker room naked and, just fantasize about a lot of them?
No.
But, it must have been great.
Come on, you didn't have a crush on anybody in high school?
Did you ever approach one of the guys in high school and they smacked you around?
No, Howard.
You know how guys are.
Yeah, you may, but he was shy, probably didn't.
Yeah.
No,
I never would expect...
Your gaydar is
really?
very early.
Because I would be honored.
And aren't there heterosexual guys you go, oh, God, I wish?
I had a gay experience.
You did?
Yeah. I'm not proud of it because I wasn't that good.
How do you know?
Well, here's what happened. I was with this guy. I was 12 years old. And he pulled down his pants and he said, hey, why don't you, use your hands? And you ever see, this is what he said to me. So I started to do it. And he said, I don't like it like that. I was doing it in a very traditional way. He liked it he wanted me to use both my hands. And you ever see a guy when he starts a fire with two sticks and you rub your hands together like this?
That?
He wanted that.
Wow.
And I started doing that. And he liked it. And I got scared. He was starting to moan. I just ran away.
Oh, my.
Then he said he would touch me, and I said no.
Yeah, it sounds like you were pretty good.
I don't know. I said I was good, and then I said I'm too. In my mind.
And Howard, you never called me back.
That's funny. Press seems to be turning.
So you actually did that to a guy?
Yeah, I did that to a guy. I did it.
Gay.
Gay, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think. Yeah, but you know why I don't think I'm gay? Because then
you are gay.
I had this other friend who came over about when I was a little in high school.
Yeah.
And he was we had a sleepover, and he said to me, "Hey, what are you doing over in that bed?" I said, "Hey, I don't know nothing." He goes, "You thinking about stuff?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "You want to come over here and you touch me and I'll touch you?" And I said...
You had just learned that it was wrong.
No, I said no.
You had just learned that it was wrong.
Yeah.
That's all.
You didn't want to cheat on the other guy.
Yeah. I was being faithful to the other guy.
You're
All right.
gay. Put him in Outpost.
Steve, obviously I'm an important media figure. And
he needs to keep that quiet.
Yeah, and I need to keep my gay thing quiet. I appreciate you not printing that in the paper. You know what I mean? I have a macho image. You know, I got a movie coming out. I can't have people think I'm gay.
He's supposed to be in love with his wife.
Yeah, because in the movie I'm in love with my wife. And, you know, I can't have that whole Rock Hudson thing going on. People won't buy the premise.
The whole press conference off the record.
Off the record, please. All right, Steve, nice meeting you.
Thanks, Howard.
And tell my gay friends, tell them, well, don't tell them anything. I have nothing to say to them. All right, thank you.
All right, thanks, Howard.
Thank you.
Howard, everybody wants to know when you're going to be coming to Detroit.
Who is that?
This is the moderator.
Jeff, please.
Oh, yeah, you don't get to ask questions.
Oh, he wants.
He wants them now.
And where's that program director? Why isn't he running this thing?
Yeah, let's talk to the guy who cut my wires. Is he there?
I don't see him.
Is he there or not?
No, he's not.
All right. Let me speak to some other members of the press. And how about some legitimate press? Not a gay free paper.
Okay. We have John Smintek from the Detroit Free Press here. He's
now
a radio writer.
Good
morning, Howard.
Good morning. And by the way, that is the big paper in
Yes,
Detroit.
and
You
your
tell him,
strike
Howard.
is over,
Yeah,
right?
it is, yes.
Were you striking?
I've been there 26 years on management personnel.
Ah.
Right. Anyway, how are you?
Great, Howard. How are you?
It truly is an honor to be back in Detroit. I was...
Howard, I want to ask. That's what I want to ask about.
Do
Who
you
we hold
remember Howard being in Detroit?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I was writing radio back about 1980-81.
Hey, by the way, you'll like the movie because it has there's a lot of Detroit stuff in it.
That's what I hear. I understand that somebody's playing my good friend John Hayes in that movie. Is that correct?
Yeah. There's a guy who represents sort of the John Hayes figure.
Was Mickey Rooney available for that role?
No, we got what's that guy from Pritzi's Honor?
William Hurley?
Yeah.
Yeah, the old guy.
The old guy?
Yeah, 900-year-old man. Yeah, William Hickey.
Howard, who do we hold responsible for your late arrival in Detroit?
Well, I'll tell you something. First of all, it really pained me that here I had proven myself in syndication. And Detroit is near and dear to my heart. I live there after all, and I have friends there. And I used to say I think it's the 5th largest radio market.
6th, I think.
Is it 6th?
Yeah.
And I would say, geez, it just doesn't make sense that I'm not on in Detroit. And for years I speculated. I said, well, maybe it's because, like, Terry Racolta lives there, or maybe it's because...
Quello was from here.
Right. I just didn't know... I mean, like, why wouldn't I be on in Detroit? It made no sense to me. And after a while, it just sort of became a thing that I wasn't on in Detroit. So I truly praise WYST and their brave attitude in broadcasting. And why should people be kept out of Detroit radio if they're a proven winner? And certainly are giving people good entertainment in the morning. There's a certain segment of the audience that appreciates my sense of humor. Why not? Why not give it a shot? So I am thrilled to be there. And I never really got to the bottom of why I wasn't on in Detroit. It just never happened.
Now, the radio ratings here came out yesterday, and Roberta Jacina is the #1 rated morning personality.
Who would that be?
She is the co-host on All News WWJ.
Well, that can change. Every market we've gone into, the All News station is usually #1. In Philadelphia, it took me 3.5, 4 years to beat WKYW, but we did it, and we will beat her. We will beat Roberta, because All News is boring. It is. It's horrible. How many times are you going to listen to the same stupid news? What? Another fire in Detroit? Please. Don't figure. Don't be redundant. How many times are you going to hear that? I am the news in Detroit now. And all of the rip-off artists, the guys who imitate me, they know Howie's here, and they know they're in trouble. And they can do whatever they want. Most of them won't even mention my name on the air. Have you noticed?
To our knowledge, no one has mentioned your name.
The new strategy is to ignore the fact that I'm on the dial. That's okay. It'll just take me a couple of months longer, that's all. Some of them sometimes get in a pissing contest with me, and they have a little fight. They get a little war going, and then I become #1 sooner. So they can either lay back and pretend I'm not there, or they can actually, their strategy now is to sometimes go on the air and scream about me, but they're all laying back, because they're all cowards. But I'm not afraid to mention their creepy names, if I knew them. I know Donnie Douchebag, Donnie Bonna Douchebag. He used to come on my show, and he said to me, Howard, I'm going to go rip off your act, and I'm going to take it to Detroit.
This very morning, Howard, he was staging a accident out on 13 Mile and Woodward.
Yeah, well, he's a real innovator.
He is an accident.
Yeah, he's a real innovator. His best accident was when he was in that car with that drag queen, and he punched out a poor defenseless hooker who was just trying to please him.
We're still trying to get to the bottom of that.
Yeah, and as far as the other two guys go, Drew and Mike, I don't even know what they are. I'll get some tape and listen to it. I have no clue. And that other idiot, the one who's been doing the same impression every day. What is that guy?
That would be JJ.
JJ in the Morning Crew. 900 years. The guy hasn't changed his act. Not one new. At some point, get a new voice. Work on a repertoire. For crying out loud, Dick the Bruiser, Dick the Bruiser. Dick the Bruiser, nobody even knows who Dick the Bruiser, the original guy, I think is dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
He's gone already.
So they got somebody else doing Dick the Bruiser?
No, Dick the Bruiser was a wrestler.
Yeah.
In Detroit.
The other big impression is that of George Kell, who was a baseball announcer, and he just retired.
Yeah, great. I mean, at what point does it become old? And I guess it has become old, and so it's good to have a little fresh air in Detroit. Crying out loud.
Howard, how would things have been different had you stayed in Detroit?
My career would have been over. Are you
There'd
kidding?
be no movie, no books, no...
Yeah, I'd be Dick Purton. Radio's best kept secret. No, I knew I had to leave Detroit. My goal was to get to New York because I thought from New York I could branch out. But my goal always was to get back on in Detroit as soon as I could syndicate. To be on in Detroit is fun, but to have your whole career be in Detroit is death.
To live in Detroit is a little...
Yeah, to live in Detroit is very difficult. The winters are not easy. I lived in Southfield, Michigan. Tons of Jews there. I didn't see one black person. Only when I came into Detroit I would see that, and then I would close my eyes to the horrible race problem in Detroit.
There had to be black people there during the day.
Where? In Detroit?
And wherever you were.
No,
they said tons of Jews?
Robin, the black station is the #1 rated station here.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Oh, I bet you it is. But if I was still in Detroit, I'd be in the Renaissance Center well armed. I know. It always struck me as odd, the racial tension in Detroit, because you could literally just walk a couple of blocks outside of the black area, and then you're in Grosse Pointe, one of the richest white areas.
That's where I live, Howard.
And I would always,
They have an electronic thing going there?
Yeah, I think like black people get zapped when they walk into Grosse Pointe. I don't know what
Howard,
but people said I was racist for pointing this out. I go, why is that racist? It's racist.
It's racist to live that way.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's not racist to talk about it. Now, what do I know? Anyway, there's the answer to your question.
All right. Howard, thanks very much. I want to hug the...
okay. Thank you very much. You're not gay, are you?
I don't think so.
Too bad. We could have really kept talking.
Howard, we have Jerry Peterson from Orbit magazine. It's a entertainment magazine.
Yes, I'm aware of Orbit.
Are you really?
No, I'm just trying to suck up to the press. Sounds like a free magazine.
Sure. First thing, Howard, is
yes.
I think you should tell the guys here to buy ads, because it is a free magazine.
All right, I will do that.
Right now? No.
Mm-hmm.
And then you didn't say anything about Ted Nugent.
Oh, Ted. Yeah, now Ted's in my movie, by the way. He has a little cameo, and he's on my soundtrack album. I like Ted as a musician and as an artist, but as a disc jockey, he's horrible. I mean, he's not... listen, it's got to be a huge come-down for this guy. This is a man...
He's played arenas.
I mean, he played arenas. The guy was fabulous. Don't get me wrong. I love his music, but it's got to be a huge come-down to suddenly be in radio. Radio seems to be the bottom of barrel for a lot of people.
Yeah, when rock stars are falling, radio seems to catch them.
Yeah, in fact, we were talking to a guy the other day. He was working at our Cleveland station. He used to be in Humble Pie. Remember that band with Peter Frampton? And, of course, they threw him off the station. He had a little problem. But, he had a problem with the station. I don't know what it was. But it's always sad to see rock stars who fall and then eventually have to go on the radio. It's probably the saddest element of our society. And Ted knows it. Ted's pretty demoralized by it. I've talked to him privately about it. He even said, I can't believe my career has come to being on the radio.
What happened to his money?
His money? I think it's all tied up in animal urine because he loves to hunt. So he uses the animal urine to track other animals. So he's a big hunter.
Ted says he could live by his wits.
Yeah.
He could be out there in the wild.
We should throw Ted back into the woods. Let him keep hunting.
There you go.
But Ted's a nice guy. Don't get me wrong. It's so mean to kick a dog when he's down, and boy is he down. It's the end of the line for rock stars. Radio or heroin. You take your choice. Me, I'd do heroin. But Ted. Ted's big thing is he takes the animals, he kills them, and then he uses every part of the animal.
Yes.
Do you know this? He uses every part of the animal. He says he never wastes the animal, and he even uses the urine to attract other animals. I said to him, between you and me, you ought to use the urine to attract more listeners, if you can figure out a way to do that. He hasn't exactly taken Detroit by storm. Am I right or am I wrong?
This is the earliest I've ever been up in my life.
I know how you feel. Me too. All right, thank you. Is there any other question for the greatest radio performer that has ever lived? What are you laughing at?
Howard, we have Jill Sklar. She's with the Jewish News.
Jewish Jill.
Oh, it is a big Jewish population.
A Jewess.
The Jews have their own newspaper.
Oh, yes. Absolutely they do.
Hi, Howard. I was
Big cans, I bet.
Yeah.
I can't see you. Are you a beautiful woman?
Howard.
Wait, we'll play you some Jewish music. So you'll feel more at home. This is the dance of the Yentas. Are you a Yenta? Are you a Yenta Kalabenta?
No, I'm 28.
Is that a nose job?
No nose job here.
Really? Thought it was a nose job. Are you a beautiful woman? Seriously?
I don't know. What do you...
She's attractive.
She is?
Yes.
Are you married?
Yes, I am.
Are you
I've been married for 2.5 years.
Oh, really?
I have
A Jewish
a little
man?
boy.
A Jewish
Yes,
man?
a Jewish man.
Wow.
Well, she's working for the Jewish newspaper.
Actually, I started out life as a Catholic.
Oh, you did?
Really?
Oh, you converted.
Oh,
But
she's
I'm not the
really
one
gone
who's
Jewish.
going to be... I got to ask you some questions here. I've got to ask you why you won't come back to Detroit.
I'm afraid. Look out the window, honey. No,
Where's the radio station? Is it in a
It's
safe
in
place?
Where is the radio station located?
It's in Southfield.
Oh, I would go there. I thought it was in Detroit. My last radio station was in Detroit proper. I would go to Southfield, Michigan. Yes, that's no problem. In fact, I lived in Southfield.
Yeah.
Fascinating fact. You know. And your husband is what, a lawyer or a doctor?
He's an attorney.
He is an attorney. Jews love to fight in a courtroom.
She was a Catholic,
Yeah.
and she's now converted?
Yes.
Well, you know your child really isn't a Jew.
Oh, yes, he is.
The child's a Catholic.
No, he's
If the mother is not a Jew, and you're not a real Jew.
Howard.
You're not a real Jew.
Yes, I am.
No,
How
you're
do you get to be a real Jew?
not. You can't. You got to be born into it.
No, that's not true.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no.
You went to some of those classes?
Yes.
I'll tell you. I'll prove to you you're not a real Jew. You ready? When's the last time you had sex? When is the last time you had sex? Last night?
I can't.
Was it last
I
night?
thought I asked you the question.
Did you have sex within the last week?
Within the last week, Howard, I can't talk to
Just tell me, did you?
I'm not going to talk
You
about
did, didn't you? Told you she's not Jewish.
But what are these classes they put you through to become a Jew?
There's a Jewish school. Let's see how much she knows.
Okay.
Let's test her. All right. What is Yom Kippur?
No, Day of Atonement.
Yeah, and what do you do then?
You don't eat, and you reflect on the year, and you reflect on your sins.
What is a sukkah?
A sukkah
That's
or
right.
a sukkah?
What's a sukkah?
A sukkah?
Right, a sukkah.
A sukkah.
Yeah, what's a sucker? That's a guy you size up, you can see he doesn't know what he's doing. He's a sucker. Right, now what is a sucker?
A sukkah
Hmm.
is a outside. It has the walls without the top.
See,
on
you know
it.
Jew.
You do it for the sukkot.
Sukkot. All right.
It's that
The,
fruit
festival
thing,
of
isn't it?
Sukkot.
Yeah.
The fruit stand.
The fruit stand. You hang things inside.
What does gay cocking off and yum mean?
I'm sorry.
All right, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
see, she's no Jew.
No Jew. Means go make a duty in the sea.
Have you done a mikvah?
Yes.
Oh.
What's that?
That's a milk bath.
Milk bath.
No, it's just it's a water.
What do you got, psoriasis? Milk bath.
It's water?
Really?
I thought it was milk.
Yeah.
Funny, you're a converted Jew, and yet you write for the Jewish newspaper.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Imagine that.
I mean, she went all the way.
So Howard, why don't you come back to Detroit?
Would you ever use your mouth as a sexual object? Yes or no?
None of your business.
Told you she's a Jew. You know, it's like half a gay guy writing for the Outpost. You know what I mean? It's just not right.
Really, I mean, a real Jewish person should be working for this newspaper.
She has the best of both worlds. Like, if the Nazis come back, she can
She's Catholic.
She's Catholic. She goes, look, I didn't mean any of that. I just was screwing some Jewish guy. I had to do
I didn't
it.
know what I was doing.
Exactly.
Sleeping with the enemy.
So,
Right.
Howard, do you miss anything at all about Detroit?
Do I miss anything about Detroit?
Yeah, like any places, any things that you remember that you enjoyed at all about your stay here?
Not really, no. I got to be honest. I don't really. I remember I couldn't wait to get out of there.
He's never said to me one thing that he can not get here that he used to get in Detroit.
Yeah, I like the people. We met some nice friends and stuff. But, you know, other than that.
Did you remain friends with them?
What?
Did you remain friends with them?
No, of course not. We dumped them as soon as I got to Washington. Of course not. Who would stay in touch with them? They were depressed. They were all out of work. I must have, you know, if I miss anything about Detroit, and there are things I miss about Detroit. I had a good experience sort of there. Yeah, my station went country overnight. I would say I missed the fun winters. Getting to work was such a pleasure. I would say that.
Digging out your car.
Digging up my car.
And you don't do that in New York at all?
No, not really. I've got someone now who does that. I've really become a success. No, but I do miss Detroit in the sense that I had friends there, and I guess if I miss anything, I miss the annoying Canadians. There's an amazing rivalry there between the Detroit folks and the Canadians.
You can drive right to Canada. It's not a big deal.
Canadians were horrible people. In Windsor. Oh, first of all, I used to go make appearances. You go to Windsor. I had to go to a punk club one night. They egged me. You know that? They go, get off the stage. I got egged right in the face.
Ew.
Honest to God.
What were you doing? You didn't try to sing or anything?
I got up to introduce a band. That's all. The radio station sent me there.
And just because you were American?
Because I was an American. I'm the ugly American. So I don't miss them at all. Anyway, but that's pretty much it. Thank you. Are there any other questions? Just not.
We have, Howard, yes, we do. We have radio's best friend, Art Volo, is here this morning.
Art Volo, radio's best friend. Thank you, Art.
Good morning, Howard.
Good morning, Art.
You ran that clip from Channel 7 yesterday.
Yes, I did. You are radio's best friend.
Thank you very much. Everybody was calling me.
I told you about this.
He's a radio expert, as a matter of fact.
You got to remember, Howard, what they put on the screen is what they super on the screen. You have no control over that.
No, I understand.
That's like a newspaper guy figuring out what the headline's going to be. He has no control over that either.
You want to know what Art is? Seriously, Art's a nice guy. He has a hard-on for radio guys. I guess he never could do radio himself.
I get the biggest one now.
Yeah, he really does, and he loves radio guys. I mean, to the point, like, it's almost like Art's radio's best groupie. And he loves to take his video camera into the studio and videotape disc jockeys.
Well, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, he loves it.
So when are you going to let me in your studio?
Probably never.
Probably.
I'm afraid of you.
I'm a little embarrassed, though, for the media here in Detroit, because I think, and I don't say this against you, because I think what you're doing because you're the best at what you do. You really are.
Thank you, Art.
But they are being very wussy here. They're letting you walk all over them here.
Well, no, they're not. Listen.
Well, why don't you throw them a hardball question?
Yeah.
Well,
no offense, Art, but the gay guy knows more about radio than you do.
He has more time to listen to the radio than I do.
No, the press. Listen, the press is excited. The press likes me. The press doesn't have to hate me, Art. Everywhere I go, it doesn't have to be confrontational.
Oh, no, I know.
They're here to do a little background piece to say, hey, we spoke with Howard. We asked him a few questions. Perhaps he was witty. Perhaps he wasn't so witty. Well, whatever. I mean, everything doesn't have to be a confrontational situation. It's a love fest, okay? Once in a while, I'm entitled to that, okay, pal?
Well, I remember.
Mr. Expert.
What does he think is being missing? Missed?
I mean, what? People should attack me for pleasing people? I give them an entertaining radio program while they're stuck in their cars, the most miserable time of their day. 6 to 10 in the morning, you're driving to work. It's drudgery. Somebody gets to work, and 10 minutes later, they're still in their car because they're enjoying a bit. What is wrong with that? Why should I be attacked by the press?
No, there's nothing wrong.
What am I,
with
the President of the United States?
But what is this question
the
thing should have been asked?
You can't see the people in the room, and I can see the people in the room, and the people in the room all seem to be just seemingly a little intimidated by you.
Well, they should be. I'm a very talented broadcaster. I'm an important man.
You're not intimidated, Art?
No, you're good at you're very good at what you do.
So what are you here to tell us, that you're not intimidated by me?
You're good at what you do. How can you be good at what you don't do?
I'm good at being a moron. What are you doing?
Like I said at Channel 7, you're very good at getting ratings, and that's
Thank you,
your job.
Art. Thank you.
That is your job, and you're very.
I have a wicked tongue.
I don't think he has a question.
No.
I do. I want to know what you think of, because when you were here in Detroit, you were up against JJ, whose act seems to be somewhat over, and you were also up against Steve Dahl.
No,
Steve Dahl was on ABX at the same time you were on W4.
Well, Steve certainly didn't like the town on fire either.
No, that's true.
In fact, he had lower ratings than I did.
There's a lot of rumors right now that Steve may be on this very same radio station, maybe in the afternoon, that you're on in the morning. Would you be for that or against it?
I personally don't care who is on after me. They could put on the Pope. I could care less.
They probably
If
would.
Steve gets the gig, a lot of radio performers now are getting an opportunity to syndicate their programs and be on different stations. As far as I'm concerned, whoever comes on after me, I have no control over. I'd prefer that the radio station not sit and have my show on 24 hours a day. In Los Angeles, for example, they got a whole station of Howard Stern clones. Yeah. I've asked them not to do it. They've done it anyway. What can I tell you? I can't control what other radio stations put on. I got no problem with Steve. Steve's doing a fine job in Chicago. He works with me. He has many complimentary things to say about me, so I have no beef with him.
Oh, very good. Well, listen, congratulations on finally making it to the 6th largest market, Howard, and hopefully I can see you one of these days.
All right.
That was a great question.
Great question, Art. You really ripped me a new a-hole. All right. That's Art Volo, radio expert. Well, anyway, Are we finished?
No, we have one more.
One more, okay. One more, and then I will end the press conference.
You may have seen a article come across that was in the Oakland Press, and the headline called you a
misogynistic pig.
Yes. Well, the writer of that headline is here.
Oh, good.
Catherine, and...
Kristen.
Kristen.
Hi, Kristen.
I apologize.
Hello,
Kristen Howard.
Kristen, I read the article. I felt it was unfair because, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I have always felt that the premise of the show is for a guy to split open his brain, whatever brain is in there, and let out pure, unadulterated id. In other words, to let out every thought. I thought it would be interesting. In other words, even in that room that you're in, everybody has a certain agenda going on in their head that we don't reveal to people. And I said, well, if I'm going to make an interesting radio show, in a day and age when we have homogenized, bland radio, which we really do, there's so many people playing it safe. There's so many people playing it safe on TV. I said, why don't I just rip open my head and let everything come out? Don't censor it. Don't think about whether it's politically correct. Just do it. And I realized that a lot of my thoughts are sexual. I would say 99% of them. And that by letting those out, I almost thought I was doing a service not only to men but to women. Because there's so little honesty. This, the hidden agenda in guys' brains is never revealed to women. It's all this phony baloney crap. So if, in fact, a woman comes in the studio and I go, wow, you've got great breasts, I'd rather not hide that fact. I'd rather not hide that it's in my mind. And I always thought that the show was shocking in one example because it was truthful. It was honest. And that's what I've tried to do. Whenever I thought I had a thought that I should sit on, I let it out. And that's what makes the show interesting. And it's that kind of honesty that people can't deal with.
Well, you get to the point where it's almost like Marilyn Manson, when he first started out, was a totally normal guy, and he got to the point where he just decided that the more the stranger he got and the weirder he acted and the stupidest things he did was it got more fans and people got more interested. It's almost to the point where you think the more stuff you say, the worse it gets, the more ratings you get.
No, I don't consciously say the worse I get, the better. The more honest I am, the better the show does.
Well, don't you think you could do that without being disrespectful to just about everybody, except for men, I guess?
I don't think so. No, I think I'm disrespectful to men, and in fact, the person I'm most disrespectful toward is myself. I am self-effacing. I talk about the embarrassments in my life. In fact, I don't know. Have you seen my movie?
No.
All right. When you see the movie, and I don't know that you can bring yourself to see the movie because you probably think it's going to be some horrible sexist movie. It's not. It's a pretty sensitive story. It talks about a relationship that I've had with a woman for over 20 years.
Oh, and you're so nice to her, too.
No, I'm not, and I'm not nice to her. And I'm not nice to her in the movie. I mean, we have a real issue with some of the things I say on the air, but then again, you see that there's also some love and trust and maybe our own bizarre way of handling things.
Well, earlier this morning you said on the radio that you respected her, and I really don't see how you could even say that.
Well,
how
that's
can you
because
say you respect her when you talk about how fat she is all the time and how she needs to get breast implants and judge women on their foot size.
Well, I believe that all guys do this. I believe guys are very superficial, as all women are. I've met tons of women who won't even talk to a guy because he's a pig, because he's ugly to look at. And guys talk about appearance 24 hours a day, and I got news for you, so do women. And if you don't think that that's human nature, you should be surprisingly shocked by this show because you are not used to hearing the truth. And that is our society. That is why supermodels are idolized by young girls growing up. And that is the superficiality of our society. And it's something that you're in great pain over, but that's what exists out there. And to try to cover it up and say that I'm some sort of a better man than that would be dishonest. And I am honest. Why is honest human nature so upsetting?
We're upset with human nature.
To people. We're upset about it. But that is how we judge things. Why are you upset?
Oh, I'm not. I'm not upset. I just think your show is offensive, especially.
Well, it should be to some people. Yeah. It should be offensive to some people.
You appeal to the lowest common denominator of society.
Well, if you ever come to one of my book signings and see 25,000 people lined up, you'll see that they're not so lowest common denominator. These are hardworking people who enjoy a laugh. Let's put it this way. You're probably very humorless. You think you have a sense of humor, but you probably don't. And you tend to take life way too seriously. That's my guess about you. And I read the article. And
I'm sure you can tell that from my voice, sure.
No, I read your article. I can tell you're humorless.
Actually, I didn't write the article, so
I
just wrote the headline.
Oh, you wrote the headline. I see. Well, I was told you wrote the article.
Oh, well, actually, she's sitting next to me, but I share her opinion.
The article was poorly written, first of all. I mean, it wasn't great writing. The person who wrote it is not going anywhere as a journalist. They're not funny, nor entertaining, nor... actually, the writing was kind of simplistic. I've seen much better articles on the same topic. The lead paragraph is weak. You almost lose attention. You know, you lose your sort of interest in the article. I'll read it to you. Here it is. A woman I once knew drank a glass of grapefruit juice every morning, even though she hated it. And she said after that, the day can only get better. Good night. Hello. Get to it. Give me a lead sentence that pops, that gets to your point. What is your point? Your headline is better than her whole article. You know why you had to make that outrageous headline? Because the article's a bore. So you had to put Stern, a misogynistic pig. You finally got somebody to read it. That's your job, making her articles interesting. Deb Anderson will not go far as a journalist or as a writer. Her writing is on the level, I'd say, of an 8th grader. That's my opinion. If you're going to write an article about me being a misogynistic pig, why are we writing about 4 paragraphs in? We're talking about grapefruit juice still. Grapefruit juice, that sums up my feelings toward Howard Stern radio's program, which aired on Detroit's Airways this morning. Of course, grapefruit juice has nutritional value, so the comparison ends there. Stern's show not only has no nutritional value, but I felt as if, you know, I mean, we're let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs in. I still don't know what she's talking about, except I'm learning about grapefruit juice.
Howard?
Yes.
This is Deb.
Hi, Deb.
Hi, how are you?
No offense. I mean, I don't think you're a great writer.
Offense.
I don't mind you thinking I'm a misogynistic pig. I just mind the fact that your writing is so bad.
I don't think my writing is so bad.
Well, of course not.
But we disagree.
That's all. That's all right.
A lot of things, don't we?
Yes, we do, my darling. You are so humorless. It's scary.
Wow. Well, that's...
You know, see, this is part of the line. She's saying, "Hi, Howard, how are you?" She doesn't care how you are. She hates you.
Tell the truth.
No, you know what? I don't hate you. I don't like you.
But do you care how he is, really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's a charming man.
I'm not a charming... You know, Hitler was a charming man.
I know that.
Yeah. At a dinner party.
Yeah. I think not only am I charming, but you're frightened of my honesty. You think... Are you married?
Yeah.
You probably think your husband doesn't have my thoughts. He just masks them from you.
I like it that way.
Okay, well, that's your opinion.
So you want to be lied to. You don't want people to have the freedom to feel what they feel or say what they feel.
They can feel what they feel. I just don't...
You don't want them saying it.
You don't want them saying what they feel.
No, I don't want to hear it on the radio. I just don't want it feeling.
Where should we hear it? So you like you probably like the Rosie O'Donnell show. Nice, bland stuff where nobody says anything.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, how you doing? Great to see
Here's
you.
my old friend.
Here's my old friend. It's not her friend, and she could care less how they're doing.
You know, I'm not alone in liking Rosie O'Donnell.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with what Rosie does, but, like, why does every show have to be bland and that in order to be okay?
It doesn't.
Good. We agree.
You know that I'm okay, you're okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fine.
Anyway, you got a point?
My point is that I stand by my column.
Oh, yeah.
Column's
poorly written.
I disagree. No. I think your radio program is a poor excuse for a radio program.
Well, I think my radio program is the best damn thing out there. What is it, Gary?
In this article, if you go to the third paragraph from the end, she basically talks about how she's trying to raise some teenage daughters, and you're the last thing she needs.
Oh, I see. In addition, I'm trying to raise teenage daughters, and a guy like this is the last thing I need. There are enough concerns in my life without having to worry about my daughters meeting up with guys who think Howard Stern's way of treating women is the right way. Well, what do you think my way of treating women is?
I think it's very disrespectful.
Oh, I see.
And then she goes on to...
You have daughters, though. I am curious. Right. You have 3 daughters?
I have 3 daughters. And I'll tell you what, I'll match them up against your daughters any day of the week. I bet you my daughters...
But if she's done a good job of raising them, why would she be worried about who they're going to meet?
You hit it on the head.
Reject those people.
You hit it right on the head. They will be humorless and so sensitive to everything everyone says that these kids are going to be completely unprepared for the real world.
How old are your kids?
I have a 13-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 4-year-old. And let me tell you something. They're some of the most well-adjusted kids. You and Kathy Lee are going to have kids. I guarantee you, Cody and Cassidy, for their big, sweet mama, they're going to grow up so freakish, we're going to see them on Geraldo on a psychiatrist's bench. And I guarantee you, your children will be humorless just like you. My kids are so together, it's frightening.
My kids are fine.
And well, why are you worried about them?
I'm worried about the kind of people that
all the other people are the problem.
Oh, I see.
No. My kids are fine.
How are they fine? If they're good
kids.
You're telling me you're so worried about people.
But they don't have the sense to go only with people they would like who think the way they do?
I don't think anybody goes with just people who think like they do.
Oh,
but
they don't.
you made a statement. You're worried about your daughters. I'll read it to you again. Let's go over it. In addition, I'm trying to raise teenage daughters. Somehow I'm interfering with raising your daughters. That's pretty good that I could interfere.
No. I'm saying that
because you're raising the rest of the world.
Yeah, you say a guy like this is the last thing I need.
Excuse me.
Why don't you let your daughters listen to the show and see if they can handle the real world?
My daughters did listen to your show.
Yeah, so what? So what, did they turn into ghouls?
No, my kids thought you were a dirty old man.
So fine, so there you go. So what are you worried about?
The problem is solved.
So why are you worried?
I'm worried that they're going to run into guys who treat women like you do.
And then what will they do?
And they can't think. What will they do when they meet a guy who treats women like I do?
My kids have a lot of respect for themselves.
Yeah,
so your kids do.
So will your kids be able to stand up to people who think like I do?
Yes.
Oh, they will. So what are you worried about?
I said, or anybody's daughters in that column. I noticed you left that.
Let me ask you something. You afraid of drugs for your daughters? You afraid they're going to go on heroin?
No.
Are you afraid that they'll be exposed to heroin?
Of course.
Okay. Do you think they can stand up to it?
Of course.
So then what are you worried about? Why don't you calm down?
I'm not all that worked up.
Loosen up. Do you ever let your hair down?
I don't think you need to know.
Do you ever say wild things to your husband in bed? Do you ever get crazy?
You need to know that either.
I bet you never have whispered one dirty word to your husband in bed.
She's probably a banshee in bed.
You think so? Are you a banshee?
Doesn't want you to know.
I don't think you need to know anything about
I think I do need to know that. I think I need to know what you and your husband are doing.
Well, I guess you'll know.
I doubt it. I'll bet money.
Oh, come on.
I'll put a tape recorder. Let's have her kids put a tape recorder in the bedroom, and we'll find out if she howls.
I think my kids could resist that pressure.
Really? Well, listen, you've written an article. Listen, are you going to win the Nobel Prize for this article? No. Are you going to win a writing award for this article? No. Is another newspaper going to read this article and pick you up and put you in the New York Times? No. It's an okay article. It's written okay. Okay, I'll give you that.
Oh, no, thank you.
It's not great writing. It doesn't move people. The headline
No, I got an awful lot of calls and letters about
Well, of course, because it has my headline on it, Stirring a Misogynistic Pig.
Okay.
Anytime you associate yourself with me, whether pro or con, you will get phone calls. I'm a tremendously successful entertainer, and associating yourself with me is the only way that someone would read your articles. I never heard of you before this, so obviously linking up with me has put you on the map.
Well, that's great.
Thank
you so much for that.
Let me ask you a question. I bet your husband supports the family, not you, with this writing career. This is a house.
Excuse me?
You're a housewife who gets to write a column every once in a while. Am I correct?
No.
You're not a real journalist. I mean, you're not.
I am. I've been in this business for nearly 20 years.
What paper are you with?
Oakland Press.
All right. Who ever heard of that?
Yeah, that's what you said before.
What is the Oakland Press?
But now you have heard of the Oakland Press.
Yeah, but what is
it's
it?
the largest daily in southeast Michigan.
Oh, boy. It's not the Detroit Free Press.
No, it's not.
I'll tell you that. And they ain't going to pick you up from this article. I got news for you.
No, they probably won't.
And I bet your husband's the breadwinner in the family, right? You're not exactly.
It's not the Outpost either.
Yeah, you're not winning. You're not getting a big salary for these articles, are you?
Actually, I'm doing fine. Thank you for your concern.
I bet you're not making over 20 a year.
I don't think that's any of your business what I'm making.
I bet you I'm right.
And I think that with the amount of money you make, I think you could be a little more creative.
Like you.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah. All right, listen, you're not a bad woman. You're just, you know what it is? You're a little uptight. You're probably around my age.
How old are you?
I'm 43. How old are you?
41.
Yeah. And you know what? We both took a different path in life. When I saw the Woodstock thing, and I kind of was liberated by it all, and you're just afraid of it.
Oh, I don't think so.
You're a scared woman, that's all. Don't be so scared. Your daughters will be just fine. If the worst thing that ever happens to your daughters is they meet a guy like me, they'll be just fine.
You'd be happy to have him as a son-in-law, actually.
And if you want me to talk to your daughters, because I'll advise them, what age are you going to let your daughters get implants? I'm just kidding, of course. I'm just kidding. All right, listen. Let's agree to disagree, Deb.
That sounds great.
All right? You're not a bad person. You just have a different viewpoint. That's all.
That's true.
All right? Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what I would like you to do. I'd like you to go see my movie, and maybe you'll understand me better.
Well,
because you'll see the
like
big...
I say, I'm sure you're a great person. I believe that you're really intelligent. I just don't see it on your show.
Well, that's because you don't have a sense of humor.
Well,
thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Trust me. It's a big problem. I can't imagine the life of your husband. It must be living hell.
It probably is.
Yeah. Tell me, are you afraid of seeing the movie as well, or like you are afraid of the radio show?
I just really don't have the time to waste on it.
Oh,
right
I
now.
see. Well, how do you know it's not the best movie ever made?
Why did you waste time on this radio show?
Yeah, why do you waste time on the radio show and you can't waste time at the movie?
Because I was assigned to come here.
I see.
They have donuts, too.
Well, we'll get you some donuts at the movie.
Your paper really should be involved in much more serious stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of big problems in Detroit. I don't know if you're aware of them. I don't think I'm the biggest one.
I think you're right.
Right.
Definitely.
It's time to why don't you go back to covering all your other issues? Leave me alone. All right. Thank you, Deb. A pleasure. I admire your bravery for coming down here and confronting me.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Nice talking to you.
Does your husband go to strip clubs?
I don't know. You could give him a call and ask him.
All right. Go ahead, Deb. Thank you. Oh, that was fun. What was that?
Probably at a strip club right now.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that would be going down over there.
No, she could have found someone with her sense of humor.
If she was my wife, I would kill myself.
You know, she reminds me of that couple who was called us and the husband was as uptight as the wife.
Yeah.
So maybe she has that bliss in her.
Imagine taking life that seriously.
Ooh.
Wow. Wow, that's got to be completely humorless your whole day. Because you can't possibly find anything funny.
No.
Like she probably finds like those comic strips in the newspaper funny.
Oh, yeah, she understands Doonesbury.
Yeah, right.
Like
I bet you she likes Nancy. Yeah, and Doonesbury.
and what's that one where the girl is always complaining about her single life?
Kathy. Yeah, she probably likes Kathy. That's funny.
Great.
That's great. I can't find 3 idiots to read that thing, but I bet you her husband works late 365 days a year. I could picture the whole household.
If he's lucky, he travels.
Not enough.
Deb, does your husband travel?
Actually, my husband is a freelance artist. He's a graphic artist, and he works from home.
Really?
Yes.
So he's home with you a lot?
Actually, I'm at work.
Oh, so all right. He's got to get a break.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure he needs one.
Right. So you're saying your husband doesn't work, so he has to put up with all your stuff because you're the breadwinner?
My husband works very hard.
What does he mean, freelance artist?
He's a graphic artist.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
On the newspaper?
No. He does lots of things.
Huh.
He works for himself. He's self-employed. He works at home.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
This guy with a computer. All right, go ahead, Deb. I'm not here to pick apart your personal life.
Check what website he's checking.
All right, very good. Freelance artist and a beautiful journalist living together and creating a life. That's nothing wrong with that.
Professionals living together.
That's all. Sounds like a lot of fun. All right, I got to. Is that it for the press conference?
That's it, Howard. Thanks so much.
Or is there more fun enjoying that room? Okay, I want to just say thank you even to Deb, to the gay press, to the Detroit Free Press, to all the people I spoke to. That is what is great about the show. It's people converging together, giving their opinions.
That's it.
Right?
And we're open to them all.
Right. And I am just pleased to be on in Detroit. Welcome to my media empire as I continue to grow across the country. And go see my new movie, Private Parts, opening March 7th. I guarantee you laughs galore, because it is one hell of a funny movie, the highest testing movie in Paramount history. Higher than Forrest Gump, higher than Indiana Jones, higher than them all. And that's a documented fact. Thank you. Thank you, press. A standing ovation, Robin.
They're leaving.
Oh, they're leaving? Oh, I thought that was a standing ovation. I didn't know. Oh, by the way, Robin is single and looking. Just in case
put
anybody.
that in the article.
In the Detroit. Yeah, please put that in your article. And please be kind to me in your articles. Thank you. Except for you, Deb. I've already given up on that. Thank you. All right. Well, there it is, Robin. WYST, some of the energy coming out of our Detroit listening area. WYST 97.1 when you're in Detroit. Always tune in.
Lots of fun.
Lots of fun. Started out good.
I'm not laughing.
You know, sometimes they start out down and go up, and other times you start up and go down.
Right.
You never can tell. Our lives are a wild ride.
We'll be back after these words with the news.
You're listening to The Howard Stern Show. Stay right there.